Hello, my name is Justin Luntz, and today I will be summarizing the TED Talk by Tim Urban called Inside the Mind of a Master Procrastinator. Some background on Tim Urban. Tim Urban is an internet famous blogger who co-founded a popular blog called Wait But Why, which tries to answer questions about everyday life and questions that everyday people have. Some topics covered on his blog are artificial intelligence, outer space, advancements in technology, and procrastination. For his TED Talk, Tim Urban decided to focus on his struggles with procrastination by implementing designs of stick figures that he uses constantly on his blog, Wait But Why. Mr. Urban starts his TED Talk by talking about his time at college. Tim was a government major, and that required him to write a ton of papers. Tim states that he struggled with procrastinating at college and always tried to find ways to push off his projects. The pictures and graphs on this slide and beyond were pulled from Tim Urban's TED Talk to help better summarize his TED Talk. On this slide, Tim Urban explains what a normal person with a deadline would do when working on a college paper. He explains that a normal person would break the paper up into chunks and complete the project a little bit over time, increasing their load work towards the deadline, but allowing themselves ample time to not overwhelm themselves. However, Tim Urban was a chronic procrastinator and would always find reasons to push the paper off until the day before the paper was due. The biggest challenge to Tim's procrastinating came when he had to complete a senior thesis project for his government major. This thesis paper was 90 pages and was due at the end of the semester. It was his only project for the semester. Tim Urban used this graph to explain how he should have completed his senior thesis project by breaking it up into months and working a little bit on it the first month, gradually increasing the second month, and really hitting it out the third month to complete the thesis. However, Tim Urban decided that he was not going to touch his thesis assignment for the first month, and therefore he was going to push it off and do the work starting in the second month. This means there would be more work to do the second and third months, as seen in this graph. Once again, Tim Urban pushed off this thesis project for the second month, leaving all the work to be completed in the third month. All of a sudden, he only had 2 weeks left. Next thing you know, there was only 1 week till the deadline, and Tim has not started his project. Finally, Tim decided to start his thesis paper 3 days before the deadline. The thesis paper required Tim to pull 2 all-nighters to complete the assignment. Tim jokes that he turned it in at the last possible minute, and the next day, the school called him up to tell him that he had the best thesis paper. This got a round of applause from the audience, but Tim states that was only to make himself feel important and that it was a really crappy paper. Tim also includes comedy in his presentation to prove his point. Tim Urban jokes that he got an MRI of a normal person's brain and a person who procrastinates. This picture shows what a normal person's brain should look like, with a rational decision maker taking the wheel. The procrastinator's brain, on the other hand, has another figure included in its brain. This figure is the instant gratification monkey. The instant gratification monkey does not allow the rational decision maker to perform the tasks that need to be done. Instead, it decides what the procrastinators will do. The instant gratification monkey takes the wheel and takes the whole project off course, not allowing any work to be done. The instant gratification monkey only likes things that are easy and fun. And the things that are easy and fun are always things that push the work that need to be done to the side. The rational decision maker only wants to do whatever makes sense to do at the time in order to get the project completed. According to Tim Urban, Normal people are able to balance the instant gratification monkey and the rational decision-making person in their head. That way, they can both do easy and fun things and things that make sense. By balancing this, the person will not procrastinate and will be able to complete their work in a timely manner. However, with procrastinators, the instant gratification monkey takes over. Tim Urban likes to call this the dark playground. This is the place where the procrastinators go when they do not want to do their work in a timely manner. All these feelings that they feel, they know that their procrastinating is not helping them, but they cannot find a way to end it. As deadlines get closer and closer, another person in the brain pops up, according to Tim Urban. This is the panic monster. The panic monster starts flipping out as they know that the deadline is coming up. The panic monster will want to act because they don't want the person to feel uncomfortable or scared or risk failure by not completing the task by the deadline. In return, all the other components of a procrastinator's brain will start to flip out, allowing the rational decision-making person to become in charge again. The panic monster will be the driving force in order for a procrastinator to get their work done by the end of the deadline. Now, Tim Urban states that there's two types of procrastinators that he sees. One is the deadline procrastinator. The deadline procrastinator allows the procrastinators to activate their panic monster that's within them. The final end date for all projects will activate the panic monster, and the procrastinators know they dread the deadlines. The procrastinators will always finish the task by the end of the deadline. However, there is another form of procrastinator that Tim Urban describes. These ones do not have deadlines and are unable to start projects because they don't have a deadline. These people are unable to find solutions, they're never able to activate their panic monster inside of them, and they're unable to change the status quo. At the end of the TED Talk, Tim Urban offers his solution. He says there is no normal people out there, that everybody in their own way is a procrastinator. And by this, he tries to find a solution that everybody can use in order to stop their procrastinating. Tim Urban's solution involves this picture below. This picture has a box for every week of a person's life if they would live to 90. Tim Urban used this solution to see that there's not that many boxes on the screen. And for many people listening to his TED Talk, about half of the boxes are already full. He hopes that this is a driving force to stop people from procrastinating and decide to give them weekly goals that they should reach for in order to overcome their procrastinating. But of course, Tim Urban, in his comedic fashions, says you can start this planning at a later time. The reason I chose this TED Talk was because Tim Urban used multiple forms of technology in order to fill his procrastinating. Tim Urban would joke with the audience that he would start on a Wikipedia article and somehow end up on YouTube listening to hour-long interviews, all so that he wouldn't be able to do his task for the day. He let his instant gratification monkey see all the easy and fun things he could do with technology in order to push the project off. So my questions I have is, does technology make it easier to procrastinate? Many studies have shown that by having a cell phone, having social media at hand, it is very easy to procrastinate when doing academic work. Also, can technology be used effectively to set deadlines for projects? There are many apps out there that provide deadlines or provide a calendar to constantly remind people to do tasks. Some of these apps allow the tasks to be broken up into subjects and sections based on what the person needs to do. These apps are a way to manage a person's time. My last question is, will people reevaluate the way they procrastinate after watching the TED Talk? According to the TED Talk, everybody is a procrastinator. And at the end of the TED Talk, these people should be evaluating if they are as bad as a procrastinator as Tim Urban was, or if they have their life just a little bit more put together. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.